everyone, welcome to my channel. Well, in this episode I'm going to show you a new product from BETAFPV that is being launched today, and it is called the BETAFPV Meteor 75 Pro, this baby here. So looking at it close up, it is essentially a super powerful tiny whoop. They actually call these whoops still, but I call them super whoops. Now, a few months ago, BETAFPV launched the Meteor 85 HD. It's not Pro. And I know an awful lot of people were pretty excited about this one here. It probably looks out of focus. Let me bring it closer. There we go. Now it's in focus. This is larger than the one I'm showing you today. So for that reason, I thought, you know what? Why don't I show you both of these? And that way I can tell you which one is the best one for your abilities, or should I say for your requirements. Now, if anybody's watching that's new to FPV, in the world of FPV, the thing that got FPV so hyped up and started long ago were tiny whoops. And this is my blade inductrix. I learned how to fly FPV off this little thing here. Oh, it's probably out of focus again. Let me bring it closer. It's a tiny little drone with brushed motors. Very, very low quality technology in today's standards. But back in the day, this was it. You flew these in your house, you flew them in races, all sorts of courses. It was a blast and you learned FPV. Now today, BETAFPV is one of the few companies that still makes drones and has stuck with the whoop design. And they've made them more and more powerful. That's why I keep calling them super whoops. Flight times are about the same for both, and performance is about the same for both. It's pretty amazing the technology you get nowadays. And finally, for everybody who's new to the FPV world, when a company calls something a Meteor 75 and a Meteor 85, the 75 and 85 is a measurement in millimeters. So if you go from one motor to the other, on this one it would be like 75 millimeters, and on this one it would be 85 millimeters. So let me put the Meteor 85 over here and let me tell you about the new product that is launching today, which is the Meteor 75 Pro. First off, you can see the canopy on this is orange in color, and that's because I stuck that canopy on there. So you can buy this collection of canopies to customize it. They don't come with the drone, but it's an aftermarket product. Here's a video of me installing it if I haven't shown it already. It's very simple. Take out 3 screws, take the old canopy off, put the new canopy on. So in this video, you'll see I flew it with the black canopy it comes with, and then halfway through the video, I put the orange one on and flew it again. Now, BETAFPV sent me this shirt, and you can tell I took it right out of the packaging because it's got all the square lines on it, everything. It was folded up just before I put it on. So they sent me the shirt, and they also sent me a pamphlet that says, when you talk about this here quad, you know, these are the points we'd like you to mention. So they gave me a whole bunch of points, and I just picked out of the points the ones I think are important to tell you. So they claim this is the largest 1S brushless FPV quad on the market today. So if you think about it, 1S battery for something this large, it doesn't happen too often. Most things are like a 2S battery when you get to this size. So by having a 1S battery, it means it's pretty light, so they have a very light design, very powerful motors, and you should get a long flight time. And in my tests, I was getting about 6 minutes flight time on this, sometimes only 5 minutes, but it's pretty cold out here. So I would say average 5.5 to 6 minutes you're going to get with this thing. They did put 3-bladed props on the brushless motors, and those brushless motors seem to be quite powerful. They're 2200 kV. It's quite powerful. In this video, you're going to see me destroy a motor on this drone. I'm not going to tell you how I did it, but you're going to see that in this video. They also claim this is the perfect drone due to its light weight and size for indoor flying and outdoor flying, as well as freestyle and racing. And I'm going to agree with them on that because in my tests, yeah, it meets all that criteria. And of course, as you can imagine, since it runs on a 1S battery and it's this size, it weighs a way under 250 grams. I mean, a way under, even with the battery. Now, here's the cool part about this quad, at least in my opinion, and that is the video system. So you can get this with an analog video camera to shoot out an analog signal, which is very inexpensive. So you could probably buy this whole thing for around $100. It's not very expensive. But when you upgrade that camera to high definition digital and a digital signal shooting out, a few things happen. One is the price goes way up. Second, it takes a lot of power away from the battery, so your flight time goes down. But I still got, 5.5 to 6 minutes with this, even with the digital. This is digital in mine. They sent me the Walksnail Avatar version. And if you get the Walksnail Avatar version, you can fly around, record everything digitally in your goggles. I should show you. These are the Walksnail Avatar goggles here. If you don't know what they are, I'll put a link to them below. These have been on the market for a while. Fat Shark makes a pair that are almost identical. And these will give you a digital signal, just as good as the DJI system, and you record the digital transmission in the goggles. But the cool thing that I like on Walksnail equipped drones is that you also plug a little cable into the side of the flight controller or the VTX system, and you can pull off, copy all your video files from all your flights. They're all stored on here, just as they are on the goggles. I'm serious. And the quality is actually really good, except there's no stability. So when I flew this on a windy day and it's bouncing around in the wind trying to go forward and around stuff, that's what the video looks like. Now, to compensate for that, in this review video, you're going to see I stuck an Insta360 Go camera on top. I just used double-sided tape, and then I flew around again. The only problem is when you put the camera on the top and you're diving down, it takes a little bit more throttle to come back up, and you'll see that in this video. And by placing this camera on the top, I do have stability in the output of the video image, so it looks better. However, this camera caused me to crash this drone and almost destroy one of the motors. Well, I did destroy one of the motors, and you'll see that in this video coming up. And I just realized I forgot to finish my sentences before when I was talking about the video signal coming out of this. So you got analog, we discussed that. You have Walksnail Avatar, and you also have HD0, which I've shown in another video when I was using an Emax product. So those are all digital, and then the analog, and this little baby has them all. And of course, when you go to digital, the price goes up. And I should mention what receivers come with this. So mine came with ELRS, so I use an ELRS radio. This is the iFlight Commando 8. It's totally ELRS, so if you have something like that, it works. It also comes in Crossfire, and it also comes in FrSky. Now I'm going to jump over to the Meteor 85, and I'll tell you the differences, or I'll just tell you the specs on it. One thing you might hear me in this video say, like M75 Pro and M85 instead of saying the word Meteor. That's just the way I reduce things here to save time on my little tiny brain. So the M85, let me tell you about that really quick. You can customize the canopy. Instead of putting different colored canopies on it, you can, right in the box, you get this. I'll bring it close. So right out of the box, you get what looks like a Centurion helmet device that you stick on the canopy, which looks pretty strange. I'm sure if I crash this, all those pieces are going flying, so you don't have to stick them on. But if you wanted them to stay there, just put some CA glue and they'll stay permanently. So the 75 ran on a 1S battery, and the 85 runs on a 2S battery, and the batteries are included with these drones in the package. You'll see that in the unboxing. Both of these drones are way under 250 grams. Both have brushless motors, like super powerful brushless motors. 85's got 1100 kV brushless motors and only 2-bladed props, which I was surprised at, whereas the tiny little 1S 75's got 3-bladed props, but you could put 3-bladed on this if you want. I will also mention, you'll hear it in this video, they're both very quiet. So if you're looking for a quiet drone not to disturb people and fly around your park, these are pretty good. In my test, this runs on a 1S, this runs on a 2S, and I received the same flight time with both. I didn't see any difference in flight time. Since this is larger in size for a Whoop running on a 2S, well, it does freestyle and it does race extremely well. This is very fast. Biggest difference between the two, other than the size and a 1S and a 2S, is basically this one here, the new one on the market, the 75 Pro, it's perfect for indoor flying and it's perfect for outdoor flying. This one, the previous 85, it's okay for indoor flying. You better have a big house because I've banged into the walls with this one quite a few times, but it's awesome for outdoor flying. So if you're someone who's never going to fly indoors, then you might want to get yourself the 85. But if you're someone who's going to fly indoors and outdoors, then you might want to get yourself the 75 Pro. Camera systems on here. You can buy an old version of this and it's analog, but this here black version seems to only come in HD0 or Walksnail Avatar. So the one they sent me is Walksnail Avatar. So it's exactly the same system as this one here. Other little differences between them, although this one comes in ELRS and Crossfire and FrSky, just like this one. This is more the SPI version of those transmission protocols. So what does that mean? That kind of means that, in my opinion, it's easier to bind. You just plug the drone into Betaflight Configurator, you go to the receiver tab, and right on the bottom it's going to say bind. You just click on the bind and you put your radio in bind mode and it binds. You don't have to do any fancy stuff. It's that simple. This new one, 75 Pro, is more the standard way we know how to bind, whereas you will bind it the way that you normally bind ELRS. All right, now I should show you the outdoor flights of these two quads. It was a very cold, windy day when I was flying them. I have more video footage from this one than I do from the new one. That's because the new one, I did a few flights and well, after the second flight, I pretty much destroyed a motor. You're gonna see how I did that in this video. So Watch this. Time for an outdoor flight to check out both Meteors. So I have the large version here, and I put the 450 milliamp hour 2S LiPo battery on it, and we're going to take it for a flight in my neighborhood because it weighs so little. I can fly this around my neighborhood within my regulations. Here we go. All right, I'm going to stand here, so I'll stick the drone over here. I'll stick it over here. And just bounce along the car, zoom up and over. All right, here we go. I'm in acro mode. Oh, this thing just flies like a little bee. It's so fast, a little insect. This flies very smooth, smoother than I expected. So look at this, I can go this way. There's our garbage truck this morning picking up the trash over here. I can fly even as slow as it's going, right beside it, right there. And then I can come back, I'll go to the end of the road, spin around, and come back this way. Miss that, miss this, and come back this way. So this thing here flies like a dream. Yeah, this M85 is awesome. All right, I just want to see how well they do outside, so I guess here I should do a little roll. Nice slow one. There we are, another one the other way. I'm doing them really slow just to show you how they work, and of course, a forward flip, and of course, a backward flip. There we go. All right, so I'm pretty impressed with this one for outdoor flight. I hardly have to move the joysticks, and it just buzzes around and goes exactly where I point it, and it's not noisy at all. So let's bring it down here nice and low to the ground without hitting the ground, and let's come on back, and I'll pop you down. Try to not hit the camera, and there we go. All right, Steve from the future here. I've looked at the video from this camera and it looks pretty good, but I think I can make it better by putting an Insta360 Go camera on top, just double-sided tape. I don't know if it can lift it, so we're gonna find out. So when I stick it on top, it looks like that.
Acro mode on.
All right, so it flies with the Insta360 Go camera on it. It's not gonna get much flight time due to the extra weight, but this is what it looks like flying down the road in acro mode. Not bad. And if I take it up, there we go. So you can actually put an Insta360 camera on these little drones and buzz them around. This is the 85 I'm doing the buzzing around with here. I kind of like it with the Insta360 because I know the footage is going to look very good and very spectacular and very smooth. At least I'm hoping so. All right, let's try it with the other camera. We'll just do another short flight with the other one. I'll just come around this way. Go around my neighbor's place here. Try not to hit the tree. There we are. And miss everything there. Oh, I guess I should go this way. So the M85, my impressions, really, really good. Like I could see people having a blast with this outside. It's very quiet with the wind. I didn't even notice the wind flying this thing. You can go very fast or you can go very slow. So it's got the best of all worlds. And of course you can do 3D acro in this if you desire. So let's try the next one. All right, so now we have the one that BETAFPV is really excited about because it's very small, but yet it is powerful in its class and its size. It's supposed to be as good as the previous one I just flew, but in a much smaller format and using only a 1S battery. So I've got the 550 1S battery on it. It's windy out here. I'll do exactly the same thing, fly it around and see if I notice any similarities or difference. So here we go. I'm going to stick you same spot. I'll put you up here, top of the car. Don't hit this antenna when you take off. All right, here we go. Buzzing along. Now I think my battery, this one here, I think the battery I stuck in is a little cold because it's giving me some battery voltage issues already. Or maybe I went and accidentally put in a battery I've already used. Okay, so enough about that. The video you see should be what's coming right out of the camera of the little drone. All right, so after flying the little guy outdoors with the 1S battery, what are my thoughts? Is it the same as the larger Meteor that I flew just before this? I could tell a difference. I'll tell you that right now. I could tell a difference very easily. The larger one wanted to get up and go. It had tons of power in store. I could fly it as fast as I want, do all sorts of freestyle, no issues. This one here, it did feel like a smaller drone flying it. However, it still had a lot of get up and go, and it had no issues flying outdoors. And since you can fly this one extremely slow, I took it in the garage and flew it around there. All right, time out, time out. I did look at the video coming from this little camera, and it's not that bad, but I think it could be better. Just like I did with the previous, with the M85, I'm going to put an Insta360 Go on top. I've also changed the canopy to orange, and this is pretty small, so I don't know if it's going to fit as well, but we'll take it for a flight, give it a shot. There you go. So end result is going to look like this. Will it be able to lift it? Let's try it and find out. All right, let's take the M75 up with the Insta360 Go camera on it and see how it does. Can it lift it? All right, let's get an acro mode. Acro. There we go. Arm it, and here we go. Whoa, I almost hit my own camera. I'm not going to go too far with this one. Whoa, it can actually fly with it. This is pretty cool. Here, I'll come over to me. Try and hit me. Man, look at it go. Whoa, I thought it would have no power to miss things. Like, look at this. I go lower the snowbank and I can pop up. That is really awesome. Okay, this is pretty cool. All right. Oh, don't want to crash in the cars out here or the stop sign. It's still got some buzz. Obviously, when I go forward and go down, it goes faster due to all the weight. And then I have to give it tons of throttle to get it back up, to punch it. But there we go. Whoa! It does get squirrely out of control with all that weight. I'm all over the place here. All right, let's bring it back. Oh, yeah. You want to see if it can do a roll or a flip or anything? Here we go. There we go. It did it with the weight. Camera didn't fall off. And I crashed into a container. Oh crap, now I have to go get it. That's in a container, like a container to throw out garbage. Get out of there. All right. Oh, I see the drone, it's down here. Oh my God. Pick it up, through all this wood. Look what, is this upside down? Look what I'm in here. I'm in like someone's having their house renovated, and I'm in the freaking storage bin. Anyways, I gotta get out of here. All right, so you're back to me. So how did I destroy the motor on here? Well, you probably can't see it so much, but if you look at the video, do you see after I crashed this into that big bin? Well, I was reaching in to grab this, and as I pulled it out, there's nails sticking out of all the pieces of wood that were surrounding it, and one of the nails caught the little wires at the back that connect into the motors, and I broke one wire, tore it right out of the motor, because the nail caught it, tore it right out of the motor. So there's no way I can solder it. It's like right in the motor. So I have to order another motor from BETAFPV. And that's the great thing with these motors, is that they're plug and play. You unscrew the motor, it comes off, plugs in the bottom. You put the other one in and you're all set to go. So that ended the flight of the 75 HD Pro. But the takeaway from that video, that portion of the video, is that these drones are so amazing that they could easily fly with an Insta360 Go on top. And when you put this camera on top with the battery, you're still away under 250 grams. So if you have a little camera at home, these things are so powerful. They can lift cameras. No, they can't lift a big GoPro. Someone's going to ask that, but no, they can't do that. So the next thing I should show you is what comes in the box for each of these drones. We'll start with the Meteor 75 HD Pro, since it came out today, so watch this. This is the box the Meteor 75 Pro comes in. Opening the box, we find the accessories and the drone. First item is the BETAFPV support card. Next, you'll find your two 1S 550 mAh LiPo batteries, as well as the battery charger, battery tester, and data transfer cable. A USB-C cable is also included. You do get a set of spare props in case you have an accident. My version of the Meteor 75 Pro is the walk snail version with an ELRS receiver. You'll notice that the frame of the drone is entirely constructed of flexible plastic. The drone's weight is 35 grams, adding the battery brings you up to 49 grams. Here we have the box the Meteor 85 comes in. Opening the box, we find the drone and the accessories. Please note that the drone shown in this review is the walk snail version with the ELRS receiver. Just like the Meteor 75 Pro, the construction is all flexible plastic. I do like the antenna on the Meteor 85, and I think you might get a bit more range with that antenna than the one on the Meteor 75 Pro. A 2S 450 mAh battery with XT30 connector is included with the drone. A video data transfer cable is also included. You also receive spare props and a USB-C adapter so that you can connect the drone to Betaflight configurator. Items to customize the look of your drone are also included. And finally, a BETAFPV support card is in the box. Total weight of the drone is 51 grams. Adding the 2S battery, we're up to 80 grams. All right, so you're back to me. Well, all I have to say is I hope you enjoyed this video. I wish it could have been longer, but I went and destroyed this one, so that ends that. That happens to reviewers quite a bit. So I'm going to put links to both of these products below. I say if you don't have a Whoop and you're in the FPV hobby, you got to get yourself a Whoop, because the Whoops are what made the FPV hobby so freaking fun, because you could fly in your house and do all sorts of contests and competitions and races indoors back in the day. Nowadays, these are super whoops, and you fly them outside just like you would fly a big 3-inch, 4-inch, or 5-inch quad. They're super powerful. And if you're wondering how resilient these are to crashes, this type of plastic, you can see it. Let me bring it close. Watch this. It's very, very bendable. It's designed to be smashed and crashed. You can break the plastic for sure. You know, if you hit it really hard on concrete or something, you might break it, but it's designed to be taped back together or glued together. You see so many people taping or gluing back together their little frames, and you can buy the frames by themselves on the Beta FPV site if you destroy yours so badly. Anyways, all that said, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you in a future video with many more reviews. Until then, I say bye!